Hello all. So we were discussing time and place of supply under GST. So we have already discussed the place of supply, and we have discussed in the previous session that what are the general provisions and how the location of the recipient can be fixed up under the general provisions. Now we have to take up the special provisions in the case of supply of services. So in the previous session, we also talked about certain provisions under section 12 for the specific provisions. Now we will continue with the further provisions. Uh, in the previous session, we talked about section 12 subsection 7. Now we'll move ahead with the next point, that is section 12 subsection 8, which includes the transportation of goods including mails. So here it has been said that in case you are taking the services of transportation of goods including mails here means by courier services, etc., you are taking, then in that case the place of supply of services by way of transportation of goods including mail or courier, etc., provided to a registered person is the location of such person, right? So in case of registered person, the location of the recipient will be considered as the place. Then next it says, in case of unregistered person, the place of supply is the location at which such goods are handed over for their transportation. So if in case the person is not registered or unregistered, then the location at which the location at which the goods are handed over for the transportation, like if recipient is taking the services of a courier company, and where if the recipient is the unregistered person, then the place at which that courier services has been given the goods, or the courier handed over to them for the transportation purpose, that place, that location will be considered as the place where uh, as a place of supply. Then, in case where the location of the supplier and recipient is in India and goods are transported to a place outside India, if both the supplier and the recipient belongs to India, they have their location in India, but the goods are need to be transported outside India, then in that case, the place of supply of transportation shall be the place of destination of such goods, that is outside India. So in that case, the place of supply will be the place where the goods have been transported or the courier has been sent. So next it says that passenger, next point is passenger transportation service, section 12, subsection 9. Here, the place of supply is dependent on whether the uh, recipient is registered or unregistered. Now, when such services is provided to a registered person, the place of supply is location of recipient. Now, when it is provided to an unregistered person, the place of supply of passenger transportation shall be the place where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey. So, in simple terms, we can say, let's suppose, for example, if Mr. X is traveling from Mumbai to Nagpur, and he is a registered person in Delhi. So the place of his place of supply is the location of recipient of the person, that is Delhi. Or you can say, let's say, for example, Mr. A buys a metro card in Delhi, right? And he is entitled to use the card anywhere in Delhi, Faridabad, and Noida, which is not predetermined at the time of buying the card. But here, the place of supply will be the location of the supplier of services, that is New Delhi. So the metro company does not have the address of Mr. A. Therefore, the services that a metro company is offering under that situation, the location of metro is New Delhi. Therefore, the location for this purpose is New Delhi. Why? Because if the service is provided to an unregistered person, then the place of supply of passenger transportation shall be the place where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey. Or if it is not possible, then the location where the person is starting its journey, or you can say, in this case, the example where last we have discussed, the place of supply will be the location of the supplier of services in case where the recipient's address is not found. right? Then next it says, next point says service supplied on board a conveyance, that is section 12, subsection 10. The location of first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. So this point simply says that if you are taking the services on board a conveyance, any service has been offered to you on board a conveyance, then in that case, the location of first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. That simply means that suppose if any person is moving from Mumbai to Ranchi and he watches a particular movie on board by making certain payment, right? If that facility is available, then the place of supply will be Mumbai because the place of departure of the conveyance for that journey is Mumbai. So any services which has been provided to a person on board a conveyance, in that case, the initial point, the departure point of that conveyance will be considered as the place of supply. Then next it says about the telecommunication services. So telecommunication services under section 12, subsection 1, sorry, 11, it has been divided into many points or many type of services, you can say. So, in the case of telecommunication services, under section 12, subsection 11, there are different types of services, and all the different type of services are assessed differently for fixing up the place of supply of business. So, in this case, let us take up the different type of services and we'll discuss the place of supply accordingly. So first point it says services by way of fixed telecommunication line, lease circuits, internet lease circuit, cable or dish antenna. If such services, such sort of services has been offered, then in that case the place where it has been installed will be considered as the place of supply for such services. Then next it says postpaid mobile connection and postpaid internet services. In this case, the billing address of the recipient of services on the records of the supplier of services will be considered as the place of supply. Then next it says prepaid mobile connection or prepaid internet connection or DTH services through a voucher or any other means. Like for such sort of services, if prepaid connection is there, prepaid internet or prepaid mobile or DTH direct to home connection is there, then in that case the address of the selling agent or the reseller, so you have to be very specific that the address of the selling agent from whom you are taking the services or the reseller as per the records of the supplier will be considered as the place of supply. The next it talks about in any other cases address of the recipient as per the records of the supplier of services. So that is why when you take a mobile phone or any SIM card, that's the reason why they take the Aadhaar card or any address proof of yours, because they need to show it what is your residential address for this purpose. So in any other case, address of the recipient as per the records of the supplier of services, and if the address is not available, then the location of the supplier will be considered as the place of supply. Then next, if payment is made through net banking or e-mode, then in that case, the address of the recipient as per the records of the supplier of services. So mostly in all such cases, it will be considered that the place of supply will be the address of the recipient as per the records of the supplier of services. There is one exception in this case where prepaid connections are there, and then the address of the selling agent or the reseller as per the records of the supplier. And one is where we have talked about the services by way of fixed telecommunication line, lease circuit. Under this point, we have seen that place where it has been installed will be considered as the place of supply. Then next it talks about next point, that is banking, financial and stock broking services, section 12 subsection 12. So it says the location of the recipient of services on the records of the supplier of services. If you are taking such services of banking, financial and stock broking, then in that case the location of the recipient of services on the records of the supplier of services. And if location of recipient of services is not on the records of the supplier, then the place of supply is the location of the supplier of services. So if recipient address is not there available, then the supplier's address will be considered as the place of supply. Simple. Then insurance services, section 12 subsection 13 says if the recipient is registered, then obviously the location of the recipient, suppose if I'm getting some assets of my business registered, then in the sorry insured, then in that case the registered place of my business will be considered as the place of supply. But if service is provided to a unregistered person, the place of supply is location of recipient of service in records of the supplier of services. So whatever is the address available with the supplier of services, that will be considered as a place of supply for the unregistered person. Then next we talk about the advertisement services to the government. Section 12 subsection 4, which simply says that each of such a state which has been offered, so it simply says that each of such states or union territories where the advertisement is broadcasted, run or played. So in case any advertisement services has been offered to the government, so this section clearly says that in all the states, in all the locations where such advertisement has been broadcasted or played, that all location, that all states or the union territories will be considered as the place of supply, right? So these all are the sections of special provisions, specific provisions you can say, under section 12 in case of supply of services. So that is it. It was up to section 12 subsection 4, and accordingly what all points have been considered under this section. If such services are being offered, then the place of supply has to be determined accordingly as given under these sections, under these subsections. Thank you all.